When Harry Met Sally, one of the greatest. And it's funny, I'm thinking back, it was pretty bold to choose Billy Crystal as a leading love interest. You know what I mean? Because no one thought of him
now,
like that.
to be completely honest, and Billy knows this, I'm not telling tales out of school. He was my best friend, and I was nervous. What if this doesn't work?
Right.
What is this going to do? I had gone to Albert Brooks. I had gone to Tom Hanks. I'd talked to Michael Keaton.
Wow.
Different people.
Great actors.
And
more of a leading men type.
Yeah, and that time and Richard Dreyfuss. Richard Dreyfuss I had talked to. Then I said, something, Billy's the best one.
And Billy nailed it.
Hey, boy, did he. And not only did he nail it, but he contributed like crazy. The biggest laugh in the movie.
I'll have what she's having.
He came up with it while we were in rehearsal. And that was Billy's line.
When filmmaker Rob Reiner and his wife, Michelle Singer Reiner, were found dead in their Brentwood, Los Angeles home in December 2025, the shock rippled far beyond Hollywood. The tragedy did not just claim two well-known figures. It left their children, Jake and Romy Reiner, suddenly without parents and facing a level of grief few people ever experience. As the family struggled to absorb the loss and deal with the intense public attention that followed, one familiar figure quietly stepped forward to help steady them, Billy Crystal, a longtime friend of Rob Reiner and someone who had been woven into the fabric of the Reiner family for decades. Billy Crystal's connection to Rob Reiner was never limited to professional respect. While both men were giants in comedy and film, their bond ran deeper than shared projects or industry admiration. Over the years, they developed a friendship built on trust, humor, loyalty, and a shared understanding of life beyond fame. Friends of both men have often described their relationship as closer to family than friendship, with Crystal regularly present at personal milestones and difficult moments alike. That closeness became especially visible in the days following Rob and Michelle's deaths, when Crystal focused less on public statements and more on showing up for the people left behind.
Wonderful person and a great director.
Rob Reiner.
According to sources quoted in People, Crystal became part of a small, protective circle surrounding Jake and Romy Reiner as they began navigating the immediate aftermath of their parents' deaths. This support was described as both emotional and practical. In moments like these, grief is not just about sadness. It comes with overwhelming decisions, relentless media attention, and long stretches of silence where loss feels unbearable. Having someone who knows the family deeply and who understands how public tragedy can complicate private grief made a significant difference. Reports from GeoNews echoed this picture, describing Crystal and his family as helping provide a sense of structure and safety for Jake and Romy. Rather than stepping in as a public spokesperson, Crystal's role was more grounded and personal. He was there to ensure the siblings were not isolated, that they had familiar faces around them, and that they felt supported as they tried to maintain some sense of normal life. In a situation where the world suddenly felt unstable, this kind of steady presence mattered. One of the most telling details to emerge from reporting was that Billy Crystal was among the first people Romy Reiner reached out to after discovering the tragic scene. That instinctive call spoke volumes about the trust between them. Multiple sources reported that Crystal and his wife, Janice, went to the Reiner home as events unfolded, focused entirely on being present for the family. Later clarifications from Crystal's representatives emphasized discretion, but the central point remained unchanged. When the family needed him most, he was there. This response was not surprising to those familiar with Billy Crystal's long history with the Reiners. His bond with Rob Reiner extended back decades through shared creative work and personal experiences. When Rob's father, the legendary Carl Reiner, died in 2020, Crystal spoke openly about the loss, describing Carl as not just a mentor, but a figure who felt like family. That sense of generational closeness helps explain why his support now extends naturally to Rob's children. In many ways, he is honoring the relationship he had with Rob and Michelle by caring for the people they loved most. In the weeks following the tragedy, Crystal joined other close friends in publicly remembering Rob and Michelle, praising their kindness, creativity, and the impact they had on the people around them. These tributes, however heartfelt, were not the center of his involvement. Sources emphasized that his real contribution happened away from cameras and headlines, checking in, offering reassurance, and helping Jake and Romy feel less alone during long, painful days. What makes Crystal's role stand out is not just his fame, but the consistency of his presence. Grief often draws crowds at first, followed by a quiet drop-off as attention fades. Friends close to the family have suggested that Crystal has remained involved beyond the initial shock, helping the siblings through ongoing challenges rather than disappearing once the headlines moved on. This kind of sustained support can be crucial, especially for people dealing